What's up everybody and welcome to Back to Basics. This is the hip hinge series. In our previous videos, we showed you how to set up a basic hip hinge and how to regress it if you couldn't meet the prerequisites to execute it without pain or dysfunction. Now in today's video, I'm going to show anybody out there who does meet those prerequisites and is executing it just fine, how to progress it and how to continue to make gains with it. As always, if you like this video, please like and share with anybody you think might benefit from going back to basics. I'm going to move forward with the assumption that you've watched the previous two videos and you know how to set up and execute the hinge properly. With that in mind, let's go ahead and begin. So the first way we can modify the hip hinge to make it more difficult and progress it is to add load. Now I like to add one dumbbell or one kettlebell at a time. I find with one point of load to focus on, it's a lot easier to execute with great form and good intention. Now remember, our idea here is not to do the exercise and just get through it, but rather to execute with intention and to develop the muscle group and the pattern and the outcome we're trying to go for. So with the weight, I want to make sure I use a very measured approach. Make sure I'm doing it right before I do it heavy. Nobody wants to get really good at doing it really wrong and getting really hurt down the line. Once you've developed a great amount of control with this single dumbbell or single kettlebell, I'll add a second dumbbell or kettlebell to the mix. Once I'm able to execute that properly with great form, only then will I load a bar. I save the bar till a little further down the road with my progressions because of the hand position, right? If the bar is out in front of me, I have to be internally rotated a bit, and it tends to be harder to maintain the rest of those prerequisite positions for somebody who's not necessarily great at it yet. So I want you to start light, get really good, and then we can add the load with the barbell. The next progression is going to be to adjust our tempo. So one of the ways we can make it more difficult is by slowing down the movement in both directions. So what I'll do is take a slow and measured approach each way, making sure to engage my glutes and hamstrings and maintain that nice, tight, corseted abdominal wall. Another way to progress is actually to invert this, and that is to decrease our time under tension. Now this is applicable for people who want to produce more power out of the movement. So what I'll do is still be very measured and controlled, but that control now has a speed component to it. Because power is strength over time, right? So the faster I move that weight, the more power we can exert. This helps athletes and anybody who's looking to run faster, jump higher, kick, bound, all that good stuff. And it's very important that we have all of those other pillars we talked about before we start adding speed, because again, if you move really fast, that's when things can tend to degrade. So if you don't have good form, you're at a higher risk. And the last progression is going to be to remove the weights, but now increase our execution way up. So we're taking it to a fully explosive movement, and that's going to be a broad jump. So what I'll do is load the hips just like I'm going into a hip hinge, but instead of just coming up to neutral, I'm going to use my hip and hamstring extension to try to throw my body forward through space, landing under control and executing the next jump very quickly thereafter. This movement is great for athletes and really good to burn calories and again, work on that power production. I hope you found this video helpful. These are just a few of the progressions that are possible with the hip hinge. It is one of those exercises that has almost innumerable amounts of ways to progress it and to apply it. That's why I want you to learn it here at the basics and do it correctly. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Time to Train. For Back to Basics, I'm Coach Ron, and I'll see you next time.